It's time to start your day with the First Cup Morning Show.
Serving up a warm cup of good news, positivity, and uplifting messages.
And now, here's your host,
Our dad,
Joshua Kangley.
Hello, friends. Good morning and welcome back to the First Cup Monday Morning Show. So glad to be back. So glad to have you here with me this morning. We definitely had to take a few weeks off because this house was just really feeling the sickness. But good news is fam is doing good. So we're back, we're here, and you are here too. And as you know, this is where we kick off the week with some good news and some good vibes. I'm Joshua Kangley, and thanks again for joining me this morning. And as always, I do have some good news to share with you today, and we will get to that in just a bit. But first, let's start it off with a quote. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "You don't need to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step." This isn't just poetic, it's deeply practical. What Dr. King is reminding us is that faith isn't about having every answer before we begin. It's about moving forward even when the path ahead is unclear. In life, we often hesitate, waiting for the perfect clarity, perfect timing, or perfect conditions. But most of the world's progress, whether in civil rights, personal goals, or community change, has been made one uncertain step at a time. So today, let this quote be a reminder that you don't have to see the whole journey to begin your ascent. All you need is courage, conviction, and the willingness to take that first step in faith. And now let's go to the Did You Know? Did you know that on this day, February 23rd, in 1980, speed skater Eric Heiden wins the 10,000 meter race at the Winter Olympics in Lake Placid, New York, setting a world record with his time and winning an unprecedented 5th gold medal at the Games. Heiden had been training as a speed skater since the age of 14. At the 1976 Winter Olympics in Innsbruck, Austria, Heiden, then 17, came in 7th in the 1,500-meter race and 19th in the 5,000 meters. He then won the World Speeding Skating Championships in 1977, 1978, and 1979, becoming a hero in the Netherlands and Norway, where the sport is popular, while remaining less well known at home in the United States. Heiden instantly became famous in his homeland, however, after his remarkable performance at the 1980 Winter Games in Lake Placid. On February 15th, Heiden won his first gold medal in the 500 meters. Over the next 9 days, this victory was followed by 4 more first-place finishes in the 1,000 meters, 1,500 meters, 5,000 meters, and 10,000 meters. And on February 23rd, the 21-year-old skating phenom broke a world record in the 10,000 meters. Amazingly, the night before his 5th victory, Heiden stayed up late cheering on the U.S. men's ice hockey team as they defeated the Soviet Union in a massive upset. He overslept the next day and rushed to the rink for his race after eating just a few slices of bread for breakfast. Before Heiden, no other athlete in Olympic history had ever won 5 individual gold medals. American swimmer Mark Spitz took home 7 golds in 1972, but 3 of them were for team relay events. At the 2004 Summer Games in Athens, U.S., swimmer Michael Phelps won 4 individual gold medals, 2 relay team golds, and 1 individual bronze and 1 team bronze. After retiring from speed skating, Heiden, who largely shunned the spotlight and endorsement deals, became a professional bike racer and an orthopedic surgeon. And if you didn't know that, now you know. According to NationalDayCalendar.com, today, February 23rd, recognizes and more importantly, celebrates a well-known food holiday, National Banana Bread Day. Now, I'm a huge banana bread lover. This is one of my all-time favorites, so I'm so excited about today's National Day. Bananas first made their appearance in the U.S. in 1870, but were a luxury item for wealthier people. People mostly ate them fresh or as a fancy garnish. It would take a few decades before they started seeing the banana's actual potential. But then history threw us a curveball that changed baking with bananas forever. In the early 1900s, when food was scarce, families rarely threw anything away, not even mushy brown bananas. Homemakers quickly realized by adding mashed bananas to a batter of sorts, the icky fruit could become a delicious and inexpensive treat for their family. By the 1930s, baking soda and baking powder made banana bread and other quick breads standard features in American cookbooks. Pillsbury's included banana bread recipes in its 1933 Balanced Recipes Cookbook 2. Then the release of Chiquita Banana's recipe book in 1950 further secured the banana bread's acceptance. And if you have some banana bread recipes, I would love for you to throw those in the comments or send me an email at admin@guidinglights.org. I will go crazy baking up some banana bread. All right, now it's time for some animal fun facts. And I'll be filling in today for the animal facts. So today we're going to talk about my favorite animal. Well, my favorite bird, I guess. My favorite bird. I love these birds. They are truly just a beautiful specimen to me. And that is cardinals. So did you know that northern cardinals are non-migratory, territorial birds known for their brilliant red plumage and distinctive crests? They mate for life, often singing duets, and are surprisingly ground foragers rather than high perchers. And their red color comes from pigments in their food. Cardinals have a gift-giving romance, as male cardinals often feed females beak to beak during courtship to prove their ability to provide food. And pairs often sing together to defend their territory. Males can sing over 200 songs per hour, especially in the early morning. And as I mentioned, they are intensely territorial, so they frequently attack windows, mirrors, or shiny surfaces, fighting their own reflections. And they don't migrate. They actually stay in the same area year-round, often living 3 to 15 years. And there you have it, some interesting fun facts about my favorite bird, probably my most favorite animal of all time. It's time for the good news of the week. Man leaps into Lake Michigan to save baby after stroller blown into water. What began as a peaceful afternoon along Chicago's waterfront turned into a heart-stopping moment and a powerful reminder that everyday heroes still walk among us. At Belmont Harbor, a sudden gust of wind sent a stroller carrying an 8-month-old baby girl rolling uncontrollably toward the water. Within seconds, the stroller plunged into the icy waters of Lake Michigan. Panic erupted along the shoreline. Witnesses say the child's mother screamed as the stroller drifted into the frigid lake. Lake Michigan remains dangerously cold this time of year, cold enough to trigger shock in a matter of moments. Among the bystanders was Leo Cundiff. By his own admission, he doesn't even know how to swim, but that didn't stop him. Seeing the mother frozen in fear and the stroller floating farther from shore, Cundiff made a split-second decision that likely saved a life. Without waiting for help, he jumped into the freezing water. He later explained that there wasn't time to think, only to act. The stroller briefly dipped between the surface more than once. Cundiff fought through the cold to keep the baby above water until others on shore were able to help pull them to safety. Miraculously, the infant was conscious and crying when they reached dry land, a sound that must have felt like music to everyone watching. Emergency crews transported the baby to Ann and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago as a precaution. Authorities reported she was in good condition. Cundiff, meanwhile, was taken to a local hospital for monitoring after the shock of the icy plunge affected his heart. Speaking afterward, he expressed relief more than anything else, grateful the stroller had remained upright and that the child survived. His instinctive courage, especially as someone who says he cannot swim, is a powerful reminder that heroism is not about training or titles. Sometimes it's about refusing to stand by when another life hangs in the balance. On an ordinary day at the harbor, one man's decision to move toward danger instead of away from it changed the family's story forever. You know, we like to think courage is rare, that heroes are trained, prepared, different from us somehow. But most of the time, courage shows up in ordinary people on ordinary days when a moment demands a decision. And here's the truth. We all face our own versions of that moment. Maybe it's not a lake, but maybe it's stepping in to help someone being mistreated. Maybe it's making a call you've been putting off. Maybe it's choosing integrity when it'd be easier to stay quiet. Courage rarely feels comfortable. It just feels necessary. So folks, this week, I'd encourage you to pay attention to those moments, the quiet little nudges, the split seconds where you can step forward instead of back. Because the world doesn't change through big headlines with all the noise in the mainstream media. It changes when ordinary people decide, not on my watch. Be that person this week. And as always, keep being a guiding light. Wow, what a story. There is a happy family in Chicago for sure. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed that good news. And as always, for more good news, positivity, and uplifting messages, you can always visit guidinglights.org. That's www.guidinglights.org. And before we go today and head out into the week, I'd like to leave you with a dad joke. Why is it a bad idea to iron your 4-leaf clover? Because you shouldn't press your luck. Well, friends, that is going to wrap up this week's show. Thank you for being patient these last few weeks. And I hope this show today brought some light into your life and a smile on your face, ready for the week. And now I challenge you to be the reason someone smiles this week. Have a great week yourself. And remember, don't let the mainstream media fool you. There's always good news happening all the time. And don't forget to send me your favorite banana bread recipe. I'll be waiting. Email admin@guidinglights.org.